First hurdle over, 10 to 7 in the morning, negative lateral flow test.
Okay, so I decided to walk from the Queen Street station to the Blue Zone. So just following Jess through to where our setup is. All a bit surreal.
I'm standing next to my house and the floodwaters are rising. In the background you can see here. So the impacts of climate are upon us now and we need to act.
It's a really serious issue and only the government has the real power to implement the changes which we as the Scottish Climate Assembly members have set out in our recommendation.
This is the voice of the ordinary citizens.
But a citizens' assembly or other ways of having deliberative, participative engagement with citizens able to take part in decision-making processes directly, it cuts through party politics and it can bring in fresh perspectives from people who often have barriers to accessing formal decision-making processes.
This is what it's all about. I'm going to ask some children to ask you some questions.
Hi, I'm Tyler and I'm 12 and I'm from West Lothian, Scotland. And as Nadia said, we are some of the youngest children to actually participate in a climate citizens' assembly, and we're both members of Children's Parliament. So that's letting us share our voices and our ideas and opinions about how to help tackle climate change. So my question is, how are you listening and acting upon children's ideas?
So my question for you is, what do you do in your country to teach children and adults about climate change and what skills they would need to learn?
I think your generation have a right to be angry with the state of the world that you're inheriting, and a real urgency to step up, for all of us to step up.
Hi there, I'm here as one of the members of Scotland's Climate Assembly. My question to you as ministers and as the ambassador is, how do you engage with local or national participation processes, and how do you incorporate their recommendations and their views into your work here at COP26 and also your work towards climate change more generally? Thank you.
But just today, for example, we're announcing that one of the recommendations from the Climate Assembly on banning single-use plastics, we're going to be taking action to implement that. So we're really committed not just to listening, but to ensuring that the voices that are heard are having an impact and allowing us to share power effectively across Scotland.
Hi, so this is Susie from Scotland's Climate Assembly, and I'm here in just outside the Blue Zone, in front of this Scotland's first zero-emission ambulance, which is a cool thing to see. Shall I say what the scoop was?
Yeah,
that
sure.
Scotland is just announcing banning single-use plastics. So that was a win.
What we want to do today is to hear from the members of the different citizens' assemblies. So we have members here from 4 of the assemblies, and we're going to hear firsthand from them their views on a number of subjects to give us a flavour of what came out of the citizens' assemblies and how important they can be in driving the political process. I went into being an evidence lead of the Scottish Climate Assembly with a high degree of, I would like to say, healthy scepticism. And I left that process having been completely converted.
I hope that our recommendations will be given serious consideration and, like Stevie said, not just the ones that are appealing to the government. After meeting with several cabinet ministers through the course of the Assembly to discuss recommendations, I have to say, feel some of them are very, very enthusiastic and some are much more apprehensive. So I am excited to see and nervous to see what recommendations they do actually adopt and which ones they give a more careful consideration to.
I also would hope our work will result in actions and to help change the behaviours of individuals, organisations and society. I'd like to think that our recommendations will help to create a new climate-friendly, normal way of life. And I'd say that some changes won't be easy, but we really need to think about the end goal and make those changes anyway. And I would love it if we can attribute a dropping in carbon dioxide levels to COP26, just like Sir David Attenborough proposed. So I've got one question. What change are you going to make today?